going on, Archons? It is time for a Friday Night Forge deck reveal. Would you rather style? That's right. Got two decks here that were cracked this past week when I played IRL with my friend. We played Sealed Adaptive with here Tawdry Travis. This is a deck that I rocked to begin with an Untamed Unfathomable Logos. And then my friend rocked Bellicose, Viceroy, Grigorov with an Unfathomable Sanctum Saurian. And they were cool decks. No doubt about it. They were cool decks. So let's throw these down here and show you what we got. So we got a backup plan, Archon's Callback, Isotropic Core, Armadrone, Australia Seaborg, Edai, Hydro Cataloger, Infomorph with a draw, Information Exchange with a draw, Phase Shift, Science, Theory or Conjecture for logos. Then we had a Corrode, which is an amazing card. This is, I think, my first time getting it in the deck, and it has the three choices of destroy an artifact, destroy an upgrade, or destroy a creature with armor, which is great. Two Illusions of Grandeur, which is neat. Echo Pearl, two Kiri Gilt Spine, which is fantastic. And then we got Brain Drain, Bubbles, and we got Figurific Rod. Sorry, I paused there because I never noticed that Bubbles art is showing the raptors basically stuck in a bubble, like a whole bunch of them. The Ursas or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of the card, but yeah, that's pretty cool. What do we got as well? We got Portal, Seabringer Krakoa, Sink or Swim, and then we got Chonkers, everyone's favorite mutant that gets bigger and bigger, old fatty. We got Fangtooth Cavern, all tied up, Assert Dominance, Deepwater Gruin, Infighting Keyfrog, you gotta love it. Two Mollyhawks, Mookling, Reaper So, Way of the Pixie. So this deck is really cool. I really like it. The backup plan for the archiving with having Edai as an option, also Hydro Cataloger with Edai, and then Theory and Conjecture with Edai is a really nice little situation you got going on there. I also like Archon's Callback, although this card I will say I feel like is if you got a hand full of logos and you can get like a decent board, you kind of want to almost just hold this one and then play a turn where you utilize your logos board, only play one or two cards, and then utilize this to have a really nice hand for the following round. That's kind of how I feel about it. But sometimes you just got to take the L and just end up ending your turn with an extra two cards, maybe three if you're lucky. But I find you're getting just an extra one or two cards, but that's still fine. All the rest stuff is fine, is just fine. The info exchange is obviously great. Phase shift with science is always really nice. There is a decent number of actions in here. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the science. So I guess it counts as 6 almost with the phase shift potentially. So that's really nice. The control that exists here is pretty wild. Only 2 creatures. Only 4 creatures. Which is not great, but what they do possess is they're potent. When they come out, they're doing things. I mean, you have the 2 Kiris, which are really being a nuisance for your opponent. No combos really with that. Really nice disruption here, really nice disruption, and then some taunt, which is always great for your Edai, and then sink or swim depending on what you need here. This gives you some options. I generally like the discard factor unless I feel my opponent has a board where stopping them from reaping to allow me the advantage to go ahead on my own next turn is more potent. And then obviously Chonkers is really cool. I think we ended up getting this to be a 16 power creature was the highest it got before it got bubbled back on top of the deck. Fangtooth Cavern is an interesting one here. You may want to even corrode it or mollyhawk it after it's put in some work, but it's nice with Keyfrog. It can definitely pop Keyfrog, which is nice, and obviously Deepwater Gruin and the all tied up for some Ember Bursts are great. Assert Dominance is also really nice with your Chonkers. Mollyhawks, again, you love it. Mookling is fantastic, especially with Reaper So you can add some counters, or you can do a Reap with Way of the Pixie and get that Ember. Just so a lot of good flexible options with this deck. This deck is really good. I'm a big fan of it. It was really fun to play. And then for the other deck, Deck B, we got here this Bellicose Viceroy Grigorov, which has a trial by water, which is surprisingly annoying for your opponent if they need the Tide, which this deck did actually, so it's pretty cool. And it has a capture pip. First or last, nice bit of removal. 2 light everlastings, which is really cool. So you got 2 Badge Magus, especially when one has a capture pip on it, which means you can throw down this Badge Magus again and get that capture pip. Just don't put it on this Badge Magus. We got 2 Salvadors, Hammergram, Heal or Harm, Shifting Battlefield, so for some more capture, Taxing Journey, more capture. Oh, and that seems good when you got a Primus Unguise in the deck to make your creatures big fatty boom booms. Oh, and wait, there's more. All this capture and 2 berry riches. Yeah, that's right. So you can get a real nice burst with this deck by utilizing all that captured ember, which you can further fuel with a Ficus Felix. You got 2 Alstrom Rostroms, so if there is excess, you can put on your opponent's creatures after you've used your berry riches and get that ember back. Again, Magister Vita's doing that. Animadicus Laucus, so you can get tons of ember, make your creatures huge with Primus Unguise, and then cause your opponent to constantly have to take the Tide or they are in trouble. So we got 2 Ostracize as well, which is nice. Reach advantage and Spoils of Battle. So really strong ways of making that all work. Oh, but there's more. This deck is a Dark Discovery deck. So you got the Drawdown, which is look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Discard 1, put 1 on the bottom of their deck, and put 1 on top. Deep Dive, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Put a creature that shares a house with that card on the bottom of its owner's deck. And then you have name 2 cards. Discard the bottom 2 cards of your opponent's deck. If they're the named cards, purge Dark Discovery and forge a key at no cost, which I'll tell you, I did my very first time playing this deck because I held these cards. Well, actually, I didn't held. I got these 2 cards near the end of my deck, and I was missing the Dark Discovery. So I had Draw Down and Dive Deep. And then I just knew I had 4 cards left and had to pull this. So I did a little mathing in card draw, and I just kind of made sure I was able to cycle into Dark Discovery, and then I played all 3 at once. Boom, boom, key 3. This deck also has 2 Illusions of Grandeur, which is pretty neat. Thundertoe, which is really cool because of the fact that you can exhaust 2 creatures and then deal 2 damage to each exhausted creature. And there's definitely ways to use that in some fun ways here. Using the Sink or Swim. So if you exhaust that, so that's a way you can make it work. And we close off with those Photic Raiders and Wiccola. So I kind of just went through the deck as we were going so you can see what it's all about here. Really cool ways you can do some cool combos with Captured Ember and Bury Riches. And then obviously Primus Unguise is going to provide even more potency to the deck. So that's this one here. I managed to win with both decks, and we did not go to bidding chains with these. I literally got lucky with the Dark Discovery coming through in the clutch. Literally, if I was not able to pull that off, my friend would have won. So these are the 2 decks. Really cool. Which one would you rather have, A or B? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know why, because I think they're both really cool decks. And as always, folks, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Be sure to tune into my stream this Saturday morning, Crucible and Cartoons. That's right, I'm going to watch some cartoons and play Crucible decks of KeyForge, or KeyForge decks on the Crucible. These 2 will be part of the mix. So please tune in. More details in the comments below. And we also got those cheap Mass Mutation decks and Worlds Collide displays. So if you're interested in that, hit me up and I will let you know how you can get your hands on some cheap product. All right. As always, have a good one, folks.